so well in the first half, and then they'd come out and get that drive at the start of the second half. It seemed like every play, you guys had guys right there, and just couldn't get off the field again. Is it a matter of determination in those moments, or more technique situations in terms of making those plays?
Yeah, I mean, first half was first half, and they come out, and I think it was a 10-play drive, and I think there was one 25-yard ball that was just a one-on-one play that, was a 50-50 play that we want to have. And then I think we finished the game with 11 missed tackles, but we had 4 on that drive, and so, usually that combination leads to points, and even the touchdown throw, we're in good position initially, just got beat across our face, so definitely didn't execute the way we want to in that drive, and it was not much of a change about what they were doing offensively, to be honest with you. They were just kind of running their own plays, and our guys were prepared for it. They felt confident about it when we came off. After that series, there weren't many questions about what should I do. It was more of, I can't believe I just let that happen, and so we had to regroup a little bit, and didn't want it to happen, but you don't want the one touchdown drive of the game to be at any point, but especially coming out of halftime.
Corey?
Yeah, Adam, who's going to be lining up at defensive tackle for you this week? I know you probably can't answer that, maybe with the.
No, I can answer it.
Oh, go for it.
I'll answer it. Yeah. Well, I mean, any of the guys that have played that are healthy, we're going to line them up. If they're healthy, they'll be in there. If not, the other ones will be. But Dennis Briggs has played in there. I mean, he played in there all third down for just about the entire season. But starting the Louisville game, we've kicked him in a little bit more on regular downs. And then even last week, once it happened, with Coop going down early, I would say 75% of his snaps, more of his snaps were inside. So that's a pretty easy transition for us, for him. Obviously, the emergence of Josh Farmer has really helped. Malcolm Ray has really come on too. So I think that's just part of plugging it in and getting your best players where they can help the team, and that's where Dennis probably will help us more.
The defense has played really well the last 2 second halves for the most part, but that one drive to come out at halftime, they looked very similar. Didn't force a third down on either one. Is there? I mean, I know you're asking yourself this. Like, is there something going on at halftime or coming out for a third quarter where you don't think maybe they're quite? Because that's where a lot of the missed tackles come too. If they're not quite ready to go to start the third quarter, is there any rhyme or reason to why it's happened the last 2 weeks?
No, I mean, gave up a touchdown on the drive, and listen, it's just football. You had 12 series and they scored 1 touchdown, and that happened to be that half, and definitely not something. I mean, we've got our routine at halftime that we go through, and there's been some times that we played really well in the first drive of the game. There's sometimes we played really well in the first drive of the second half, but we look at everything.
Come over here to the left for Hassan.
Yeah, Coach, Jared Burrs, went down with injury at one point in the game, but came back and healthy. How do you read his performance and how he toughed that one out?
Good. I mean, Jared was impactful. You know what I mean? I mean, he gets the edge on blockers a lot, and guys have nothing to do but to try and grab him and hold him, and he keeps fighting through it. And he's a good player. I think the time away, he was rusty on some of the run technique stuff, and that'll get better. He'll admit it, but he plays the game the right way, and he's somebody we rely on to make impact plays.
All right, Carter.
Adam, how have you seen DJU? I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. How have you seen him grow since last season?
Well, I mean, I'm into it this week. The statistics speak. He's a lot more consistent in his completion percentage. I think it helps. They're really balanced right now. I think they got one of the better running backs in the league. They got their O-line back. They got 2 really good tight ends, and they brought in a freshman slot that's kind of built some confidence too with the outside receivers. So, I think the surrounding pieces have done a nice job, and they played well. I mean, they're undefeated for a reason, and he's a big part of it this year.
Go to Brendan, front row.
I guess 2-part question, both about Josh Farmer. As one, how did he do with that extended? I know he's been playing a lot of the extended role against NC State, and then 2, on the penalty he got. Is there anything that he could do differently on that play?
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to get you in trouble.
You guys are so concerned about me and asking me the crowd. I really appreciate that. Listen, Josh played his most snaps in the Louisville game, and I thought he really came on in fall camp to a point that we said, okay, he's ready. Because sometimes D-line development takes a little bit longer. But you know, that Louisville game, he played slow and he was very reactive. And to see him come back out after that game and put some really good games together, you know, he's starting to hit his stride and starting to hit his confidence. And he's playing with good technique. He's playing with good effort. And you know, he's somebody that, you know, he's full blown in the rotation now, regardless of the health at that position. You know, he's earned the playing time, kind of like I've said about Pat Payton. You know, at this point, he's established himself as one of the players that we rely on. You know, and on that play, you know, I thought he played it. You know, he beat a block. You know, his eyes were up, ran through the play, and you know, I'm proud of him.
Go to Ira on the right.
I've got a two-part question too. I'll call it your two-part question. The way you guys responded after the penalty on the punt, the illegal punt, to, you know, they're getting the ball at 13, and then they're forcing a 50-something yard field goal. I want to ask about that. And then also, does Pat's development, does that also help the move to Briggs to inside?
Yeah, good second question. The first one, just, you know, it happens, and you know, sometimes, you know, Mike deals with the officials, Mike deals with the penalties, whether he's going to accept them, but sometimes, you know, when the ball's in a certain place, me and him happen to stand together, and during that play, it became some third downs. It's like, what do you think, right? Because, you know, I'm the one calling the defense. You know, do you want to play the 3rd and 10, or do you want to make it a 3rd and 30? Do you want the field goal from here and all that? So, you know, and then JP's going to chime in on, you know, what he thinks the strength is from a field goal block standpoint, where the ball is. So, you know, with how we were playing on defense and with how they were playing on offense, and you know, it made sense to keep moving it back. And then, you know, you got to defend. You know, you're trying to defend, you know, a big chunk first down there, or you're just trying to defend it like it's a 3rd and medium and defend the short for the kick. And so, you know, listen, I thought our guys played hard and they executed, you know, most of the night. And you know, that was a good drive for us, because that's what was needed to win the game at that point. You know, we need to move them back, need to make it for a challenging attempt, and so that's how that needed to play. And then the other one with Pat, I think absolutely. You know, it's hard, you know, up front, if you want to rotate as many quality players as you can, and when you talk about a guy that has the flexibility that Dennis Briggs does, you know, listen, at the beginning of the year, part of the reason we're moving around to Fox was because of our depth inside, you know, and I've told you guys that. It's about getting your best, not only your best players, but your best team on the field, right? So you got to make those decisions. I think we're really strong here. We lack experience here. He's got the ability to do it. Let's make the move. But as the season goes, you know, just like if you're a zone cover team, you got to move the man or whatever that is. You know, I think it helps when Pat's playing really well. You know, we can rely on Jared Burst. Leonard Warner stepped up and gave us good snaps. Derek McClendon has been solid. So it allows us to make that move.
We'll go to Kurt on the front row.
I know Tatum, I think in the Louisville game, got hurt fairly. I don't know if he's been maybe a little limited working his way back from that the last 2 weeks. It felt like he was himself again. What can you say about his, especially the second half? It felt like every big tackle was made by him.
Yeah, you know, most guys that play linebacker in the interior defense and offense are banged up at this point in the season. But you know, we have challenged Tatum. I think, you know, Coach Shannon's done a good job with him and that group. But I've challenged Tatum that, you know, you've shown the ability to be an impact player. We got to do it at those moments. You know, that competitive excellence when your best is needed, you show up. And you know, there were times, you know, in the run game that Tatum really provided some of that flash and knockback that, you know, we see from him, and it was one of his most impactful, consistent games.
Corey?
And, you know, Jammie had, I think, 13 tackles the week before, and then had 9 tackles and a pick, although, you know, I guess maybe theoretically he could have dropped that one, but you can't tell a kid to do that. Is he starting to, or maybe he's done it all year, is he starting to regain or refine that form of last season? And what do you expect from him moving forward over the second half of this season?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been many plays during the year that Jammie's missed, you know, and you know, there are some times at his position, as part of the reason we have him back there, that I'm gonna ask him to do certain things that's in the best interest of the defense. And he's gonna do it. And, you know, but the ball will find you. And I think the more that you play team football, the more that you play with a certain style and effort, the ball usually finds you. I mean, the tackles are the tackles. You know, I told him sometimes early in the year, you know, when you got Kalen and Tatum and D'Lo and DJ Lundy tackling the football, that's not a bad thing. You know, but there are plays that are safeties are the primary fitters, and I'm confident when he's that person because he usually gets the ball on the ground. And you know, it was good to see him get his hands on the football Saturday night too.
All right, last one, Ira.
I know you're sure not focused on history, but last year, that game at Clemson, probably not a lot of people outside the program gave you guys much of a chance. What did you learn about these guys? What do you think they learned about each other going into that stadium and playing the way they did to take a lead into late the game?
What did we learn about our players playing on the road at Clemson?
And just against that opponent, that environment.
Yeah, I think it's always helpful when you can turn the film on and watch your players play against those players, and there's, you know, some familiarity there. You know, I think that's happened with our staff now being here in year 3 and having a lot of players that have still been playing for the last 3 years. And so it's helped us to be able to show that tape, but our guys were confident going into that game and they played with confidence. You know, and we had a lead late, you know, and that's something that that was all part of building our football program and all part of where we were, and we just got to go finish that game. We had to finish it last year. We got to give ourselves an opportunity to go finish it this year. Listen, there's not a team in our schedule that our guys are concerned about. You know, right now it's all about our mirror, you know, and making sure that we take care of the things that we need to take care of because we are good enough and we've worked hard enough. Now it's just about doing it, you know, day in and day out and making sure we maximize that competitive excellence on Saturdays.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.